Hey guys, this is Klaus from Team Gumi. Today, it's time to do my deck profile on ZTB Pre-Gbt 14. I'm making this deck profile today because today I won top 8 in teams 2v2 teams at Dynasty Cup. And if you don't know what Dynasty Cup is, essentially it's a tournament. It's one of the big East Coast hosting like tournaments. If you know what ARG is, it's something like that, but for like East Coast wise. I'll put their links to their channel and stuff down below later. But yeah, let's get started on our ZTB deck profile. Alright, so let's start with our grade 0 lineup. And as always sponsored by Patrick O'Donnell Designs. This design mat, I collaborated with Patrick and we made this mat together, and I think it came out pretty well. Every time I've been into tournament, everyone's been complimenting on it, how great it looks, and since ZTB baby, that's the life. Alright, it's time to start on our deck profile. So I run Chronicle OG as my stride. I run 2 copies of him. Comes in handy because a lot of the control decks right now would get rid of it or lock it or stun it, or what, they're just going to purposely target it. So one way or another, I'm going to bring one back into my hand or somehow bring it onto the field via, I don't know, Rafna or other methods. So Dran as my starter. Yeah, let's keep going. Alright, then right now I'm running 4 Chronotherapy Hamster ZTB heal trigger. These will probably get replaced, not probably, will be replaced once we get the flip heal triggers or soul charge heal triggers in GBT 14. I run 3 Heart Thumps, 3 Chrono Volley Chrono Volley Rabbit, and 3 Pulsar Thruster Bison. I run 9 crits instead of like 6 crits or whatever, so I can have 4 like sheeps or something like that, because I do this because in the cases of where my Vanguard has to be the only one that's attacking, like matchups against Link Jokers or matchup against fucking Mega Colony with their Ghidorah shit. This kind of comes in handy because then that way it counts as if they fucking don't guard it, I'm gonna hit at least multiple damages. And some of you guys were still wondering why am I running Heart Thumb last time. I mean, some people who are, I want to say, who knows what's up, knows why Heart Thump's useful. Heart Thump, like today's matchup, I kind of used it against Link Jokers. In last week's matchup too, I used it against Link Messiahs. When they lock my front row, they're gonna think I can't draw because Cruising Dragon's not gonna be there. Transit Dragon's not gonna get the pop off a skill because I mean obviously it's not boosting anything. So then I would use Heart Thumb to put in a soul to draw. Soul Charge kind of because Soul Charge is important in Jet deck right now in ZTB especially when Chrono Jet Z comes out. Soul Charge is crucial. So it's a benefit of soul charging, but also drawing. But also, my favorite move with this one is when it's boosting Gear Next. First attack, boost it, and then if it's 2 Split Pegasus, it's like 6k boost to your Vanguard, because your Vanguard has 2k and this gets 4. And the second time when it restands and attacks, I just put into the soul to draw another card and give it 5,000 on top of the 10k that it would gain from its skill, 2k from the Split Pegasus, total of 17k boost to the fucking Vanguard. So good. But only cultured man of taste will understand why it's so good. Alright, I run 2 sheeps. Pulsar Hypnosis Sheep is really good. However, the only reason I don't run many of it is because I don't end up getting these a lot in my hand. Even if I do, most of the time my field is more centric around it gets drawn to hand or power column, and I don't get to use it a lot. Defeat Flare will burn it all up, or fucking, you're locked. Your front row's fucking locked. What are you gonna do with this shit? Nothing. So I downsized it to 2. 2 was more than enough. When I get it, I use it to wreck anyways, so 2 is more than enough. And last but not least, the last trigger I run in my deck is the Uwartar. Now, you might be wondering, Klaus, Uwartar is so outdated. Why would you use Uwartar? Uwartar doesn't work with ZTB. It's not a ZTB trigger. Yeah, you filthy mongrel. I understand it's not a ZTB trigger. But, again, in the matchups where it fucking matters, like Link Jokers or whatever, in the top tier deck right now, this comes in handy so many times. 1, I time leap it to call out Meshkia. So I give a 4,000 plus the 2,000 from split to my Vanguard and draw from that. Skill, draw 2 more, shuffle 1 back to the deck. So it's free draw. Usually I chain this off with Meshkia to get at least draw 2 free, essentially, because you're sending 1 back. And it's just so good. Why not abuse it? It works well with Jet G. Alright, moving on to grade 1. That's grade 2. Yep. Grade 1. We're just talking about her. Meshkia. 1 copy. 1 copy is enough. She's a bae. When she comes out from the deck, as long as it's called from anywhere, not from hand, but fucking deck, she gets an auto skill. You rest her, and you give a unit on the field, 4,000, draw a card. And then goes back to the deck. If you didn't notice also, a lot of my cards right now revolve around getting, going away after the end of the turn. It kind of helps against, like, Link Joker matchups especially, and Kagero and whatever. They're going to retire it anyway, so just return it so you can put it back to the deck. Alright, moving on. 2 copies of Hegald. Hegald is just there so I can counter charge for free, but also soul charge and also shuffle back triggers back to the deck. Skill is Soul Blast 1 and send this to the bottom of the deck and choose a card from the drop zone, send it to the bottom of the deck. And if you did that, counter charge 1 and auto skill GB1 skill when this unit gets called to the rear guard, soul charge 1 if you want to. So yeah, shuffles back, helps with the late games, long games too. Alright, without a doubt, 4 SP Arca, because Arca is bae. I remember when everyone thought Arca was garbage, but she was so good from back then, from the get-go. Skill, I mean, what can I say? When you guard it, and there's 2 Arcas in the drop zone, bind 1 ZTB trigger with 1 Arca, then you can send the other one to the hand. So essentially, like, once I have all 4, I'm gonna PG like every other turn. You're not gonna hit me until I let you. Alright. 4 Transit Dragon. Why? Because he's a free fucking draw and a soul charge again. He's like Jeffrey. So after a boost at the end of that battle, not at the end of the turn, not at the end of the battle phase or whatever, it's after it boosted, goes to soul, draw a card. Very good. And of course, 4 Strike Fighters. Jet, what can I say, man? ZTB is so fucking strike focused. Even G series right now, current meta is all about if you don't strike, you're fucked. And Gear Chronicles, you gain so much benefit when you're striding because a lot of the card gains their ability when your Vanguard is a grade 4 and all that. Helps me from getting great stuck. Well, not great stuck. Helps me also get my Jet if I need to. Like if I get a grade 3 that is not Chrono Jet, it helps me get it also. Alright, moving to grade 2. Alright, I run currently 2 Duplex Dragon, aka Suplex. He's good. He helps me control the field. Sometimes, like when I want to get rid of your opponent's starter, he comes out in the field as long as I have a grade 3 Chrono Jet or higher. Sends it Soul Blast 1, bind the top card, send it bottom of the deck. Send opponent's card bottom to the deck. That is equal to the grade that was binded from its skill. Helps me get rid of the starter. Really, that's mainly it. And sometimes against like matchups against like Kagero, helps me get rid of Conroe. So when they were saving that Conroe to get counter charges, you just sit there and laugh at their face. All right, moving on to grade. You know what? I'll put it right here because it seems like autofocus. All right, moving on to the next grade 2. I run 2 split. Yeah, Pulsar Spearhead Unicorn. It's mainly used to help me build a board, especially like when I'm going gear next, or when I have nothing else to call out, but I have counter charges up the ass on the left. Skill, when you have a Chrono Jet Vanguard, gains 2,000 GB1 skill, by the way. When this unit attacks, counterblast 1, look at the same top of the cards equal to the same amount of ZTB units in the field. You get to call one of them out to the field. So, including a Vanguard, if you have everything else ZTB, you look at like, I guess, maximum of 6 cards, minimum of 2 cards, and you get to call one out. It's very, very useful. And yeah, it helps me call out unit. So then I attack with another unit, and gear next skill, I can send them back, send that unit that was called out back, and hope for a send trigger, resend this, and attack again, call out again if I wanted to. Came in handy a couple times, but I didn't get to use it this tournament as much. Didn't really need it. Low-key MVP. I remember when I fucking ran this shit, everyone said, oh, it's garbage. Oh, like people who were topping, they're like, oh, why would you run Lugal? It's useless. Well, it's super rush. Like you can fucking its first skill when it gains 2,000 when it becomes an 11k beat stick. It's pre-GB skill. So as long as you have a ZTB Vanguard, it's gonna be 11k beat stick always. My friend Dave kind of like got me back into it. Respect to Dave. Second skill was so useful today. If you play ZTB, you'll notice the major issue with it currently is that your rear guards don't get to do multi-attack as Time Leap used to do. This guy comes back and helps with that issue. So his skill is when you drive check, your Vanguard drive checks and reveals a grade 3. It doesn't matter, mid drive check, you Soul Blast 1 and you can Time Leap this unit to a grade 3. So you could chain it up with Chronicle if you want to get that plus 3,000, but also counter charge. Or you can get Buffalo Bill. I mean, I call him Buffalo Bill, but it's freaking this guy, the Ox. You can get Chronicle Fang if you want to. There's so many combos you can do with it. Potentially so good in your next turn or next stage turn, whichever the fucking stride. Whenever your fucking Vanguard drive checks, just so good. Use it. Don't question it. Just use it. And of course, the MVP of ZTB hand build is Cruising Dragon. 11,000 beat stick. When you attack GB1 skill, attack the Vanguard, counterblast 1, look at top 3 cards, choose 1 card, show it to your opponent, and if it's ZTB, it has to be ZTB, and add it to your hand. Send the rest to the bottom of the deck in any order. So that's how I would trigger stack near the bottom. Just realize how many triggers are going, and then organize it and go from there. All right, last but not least, not last, in the main deck, grade 3, 1 Ox. Ox skill, so useful, especially when you call it out, timely from Lugal, or when you just call it out and just fucking beat shit up. I mean, chain out with the sheep also. Auto skill gains 1,000 for every face-up units in the G zone, and active skill, counterblast 1, gains additional 1,000 for every face-up in the G zone. So if you counterblast, you get 2,000 essentially for every face-up in the G zone. I have used this guy and gotten like 30k plus with this power, just him alone. So he's fucking beat stick good. Beast stick god. Alright, Chronicle. Chronicle is there right now because I mean when I want to counter charge, it kinda helps. And also, I mean, it's a really good card. Upon time leap gains 3,000 and yeah, counter charge 1 if you don't have any face up. Came in handy with Lugal today also. And of course, I mean, you're playing the fucking Gear Chronicle. You need to have Jet in it. Jet G. Pretty self-explanatory. Upon striding, you can choose 1 card. Choose up to 1 card. Call to the rear guard and time leap a unit. You don't have to call, but you can just choose to time leap. Comes in handy so many times. My deck. My card just fell on the ground. Alright. So, enough of me babbling about my main deck. Time to go into the G zone. Alright, I'm running 1 GV8. Why? I know, it's the shittiest card Gear Chronicle could possibly ever gotten. I use it just to fucking troll people with it. It's just there, you know, like, if my deck is not gonna deck out because, like, I'm playing against Link Jokers or Gridora, but I want to restanding Vanguard for shits and giggles, and that's like late game. I just fuck with this shit. I psych people out with it too because they think I'm gonna rush to GB8, and yeah, no. I got somebody with that today. For Gear Next, why so salty? Gear Next, so good. It's a restanding Vanguard, but a lot of new players who play ZTB thinking it's autopilot fails to do this. It is an active skill, and during your main phase, you need to Soul Blast 1 to Persona Flip a copy to activate the restanding skill. It is not like next stage where you, upon attacking, then you Soul Blast. It's not like that. I repeat, Soul Blast during the main phase, Persona Flip to gain the restanding ability. So how it restands is after it attacks, restands by sending either by field or by hand a total of 3 ZTB cards to the bottom of the deck in any order. Keyword, it has to be ZTB, cannot be anything else. And when it restands and attacks for the second time, it loses 2 drive check, but if it's a GB4, it gains additional drive check, so technically you're losing 1. And also it gains 10,000 power off the bat. So it becomes a 36k base B stick with the 2 triggers. MVP since upon release, Split Pegasus. Split Pegasus, what can I say? Perfect chain with Z Vanguard, on stride, upon stride, time leap the Dran, get a Transit Dragon, and then get Soul to the, put the Dran to the Soul, call a Jet, Counterblast 1, Persona Flip 1 if you want to. It doesn't have to be Persona Flip, but I run 2 so I can get the plus 2k consistently. Split the Jet into 2. I usually get Cruising Dragons to build a hand size if I have 3 Counterblasts. If I only have 2, I use 1 for Cruising, 1 for Split, and the other one will come out as a Luga Ure. Today I did that. I fucked up Overlord with that. It's just too good. Split Pegasus, and because of Split Pegasus, I consistently have plus 2k after my first stride. Okay, this card was real MVP, and I highly recommend you guys pick this up right now because they're like really cheap, like $3 to $5, because almost nobody uses it. Why is it good? It fucks up Neo Nectars a bit. It fucks up Kaigeros for sure, and Gordora, and like any other deck. Since a lot of the control decks consist of having their field completely always there, it just fucks them up. Okay, here's what I did today to fuck people up. I go Split Pegasus first turn, go to Gear Next too. Gear Next in the second stride. On third stride, a lot of people would go to Gear Next to, you know, of course, power slap them. But what I did was I got into Revolution because it wiped their entire field. Because my cards in my main deck are all about going away or going to the soul at the end of my turn. And so I'm not gonna have anything. So this is auto skill. When this hits the Vanguard, you can activate this before you activate Jet G skill. So I do that, send everything in my opponent's rear guard to the bottom of the deck, and then I call from hand. The reason why I do that is because then they're gonna have to guard a lot of cards just to block my all my attacks. But also, even if they somehow survive, they're gonna have to sacrifice all those hands to make up all the rear guards they just lost because of his skill. Then at that point, I would go into my next turn, I would go into Gear Next, where then I know they'll have a lot less cards in their hand and bum rush it, just kill them off right there. So skill, Persona Flip, Counterblast 1, return all players' rear guards to the bottom of the deck, and mine won't be sent back if I have a Cronus Command face up in my G zone, but I'm not running that. Next, Sea Breeze. I removed Sea Breeze for a while because I was trying to power rush people, but there were times where opponent was great stuck, so I brought that back. Alter Dragon comes in handy when you cannot stride and you want to stride because you're playing GB reliant deck. You always want to stride. So I brought this back. Counterblast 1, bind one ZTB card from your hand, and you can stride into this essentially. And its active skill is flip 1 card from the G zone, look at top 5 card, choose 2 of them, bind it, and this gains 2,000 for every bind card in the binded cards. And if you don't have any face up, Counterblast, countercharge 1. So really good. Alright, I'm running 5 G guards again because of all the power creeps and shit. 1 Refna. Essentially, Refna will get me back grade 0s like Dran or Uwatar, so I can use at the beginning of my turn. Gains 10,000 if I do that. I run 2 Hetero Hounds because why not? It makes people cry and make them so salty. Soul Blast 1. Choose one of your opponent's rear guard. If it doesn't have resist, send it to the back to the deck, shuffle, and look at the top card and call out the top card. I've used this to piss off people by forcing them to call out their heal trigger or some of the triggers that like really good triggers, mainly the heal triggers. Comes in handy because if your opponent is running like a rear guard with like a shit ton of power, let's go with Link Jokers like Globdula, whatever, getting 6,000. Since I won't have any open units, it will be all locked. And he boosted with Metanax. That's gonna be such a power. Let's see, Metanax 11k. So that'll be 26k. I'll use Head Around, send that Globdula back to the deck, shuffle, and then I need to call a top card. I mean, it's not gonna be able to hit me afterwards. It's so good. 1 Ururu skill. Choose 1 trigger from the deck about the drop zone and 1 non-trigger from the bottom from the drop zone, and send both cards to the bottom of the deck. If you do, this unit gains 5,000. Just helps me recycle cards back to the deck so I won't dag out, but also it just helps me recycle heal triggers so I can just miracle heal out the ass. Last but not least, I run the flip G guard. What is it called? The Time Maiden of Eternity Uru skill. Counterblast one, flip another G guard, and this gains 5,000 for every face-up card in the G zone. This comes in handy against like Neo Nectars or any like decks that just has a shit ton of fucking power. Like I used this against Kagero today. I'm like, he's trying to attack me for like 40k or something like that. I'm just like, oh yeah, no pass. Good luck with that shit, because I already had like 6 cards face up in the G zone. So essentially, it's just a big wall. What I will change when GBT 14 comes out, obviously, this piece of shit, I'll switch it out for Dust. And I'm probably going to get rid of, like, maybe Alter Dragon for Heritage. Or drop one split to the other Heritage. Like, one Heritage. It's a little toss-up in the air unless they release another G unit. But for sure, that's going to be Dust. Either that or that's going to be Heritage. Currently, ZTB is like a tier 2 deck, but if you know how to play around it, like all these like meta decks, you can play it as a tier 1 deck. You don't have to worry about a lot of the control decks, because you'll just make it up again as you time leap. But yeah, that's about it. I'll post my deck recipe paper I use later in my Facebook group, so go ahead and check it out if you want. But that's about it for today. Oh, also, everyone in our team Hoshi Gumi made it to top 8 today, so every one of us is gonna do a deck profile. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, and you can find out, you know, the deck recipe for Aquaforce and Neo Nectar with the new Asha. That's about it today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed our video and learned something from it, and go subscribe, you filthy animal. All right, peace. Whoosh.